4 years ago, I started dating a naturopath, and I thought I knew what health meant, but I quickly realized that I kind of had absolutely no idea what that meant. Things I started learning over the last 4 years have completely changed my outlook on the quality of life. I'm Alexandria, and this channel is called Love Natural Living. I'm not a naturopath, I'm not a doctor, but I'm someone who's been learning a lot from someone who is. So this channel is where I'm going to be spilling all of my naturopath boyfriend's secrets. Anything from recipes, ways to naturally hydrate, supplements that are worth buying, things to avoid. I'm going to take you behind the scenes. You're going to see all the treatments that naturopaths do. I'm leaving nothing on the table. So I'm going to share a little bit more about my health journey and a few of the biggest things that I've learned over the last 4 years that could possibly change your life. So a little bit about my health journey. My health journey started about when the pandemic was happening, 2019, 2020. I was actively trying to lose weight. I was doing everything I thought was healthy. I had joined a boot camp style workout class. I was working out 5 to 6 times a week. I learned how to macro count at this point, and I just started noticing that I wasn't feeling the best. Every day I would wake up, I would feel hungover as if I had drank heavily the night before. I had a hard time getting out of bed. I had extreme brain fog all day, every day, and I just really wanted to get to the bottom of it. So I had made an appointment with a doctor at that time, and it was really hard to get face-to-face with a doctor. I was living in California at the time, so everything was really shut down, very hard to navigate. And the doctor I started seeing there, when I explained all these symptoms and explained I had noticed my hair was falling out, I just didn't feel like myself. I was trying to lose weight. I was doing everything I thought was necessary and what anyone would call like healthy. And I quickly, having a discussion with him and him immediately saying, it's probably just anxiety. And so when he said this to me, I was kind of in shock. Like, I know my body best, and I know I'm a hairstylist. I've been a hairstylist for 12 years. And I pay attention to things like my hair falling out and how I feel. And so I kind of I felt a little uncomfortable, and I'm not saying every doctor is this way, but this doctor during this time period, maybe, there was a lot going on in the world, so I wasn't that important at the moment, but the feeling just really didn't feel great. So he did some lab work, he kind of did the basic lab panel to check my thyroid, and I felt like, all right, maybe we'll get some answers. And when we had our next appointment, it was over telehealth because everything had kind of moved out of office at that time. And I just remember being on that phone call, him going over my blood work. And he said to me, it looks like your thyroid levels show that you have Hashimoto's. And immediately I'm like taken back a little bit, like, what? I have a condition? What does this mean? I don't know anything. I started spiraling because that's the type of person that I am. And I said, okay, so what does this mean? Do I need to change my diet? Should I change what I'm doing? What can I do to make this better? And he basically said, nothing. Why would you do that? There's nothing you really can do. We'll check you in 6 months. If it hasn't changed, we'll just put you on medication. And from that moment on, my mindset kind of flipped. I was just like, I have to continue living feeling like this for 6 months. It just didn't seem right to me. So I was lucky enough to have found a nurse practitioner who was working in an Eastern medicine kind of acupuncture clinic. And she really went over my blood work with me and showed me all of the things I could try and start doing, from supplements. Yes, changing my diet was huge, removing inflammatory foods. I was immediately gluten-free and dairy-free from her suggestion. And I started noticing an actual shift in, I was finally starting to feel my body losing a little bit of weight and getting a little bit more in shape. I think removing the gluten and the dairy really helped, and my body responded really well. I think adding in those supplements, the few supplements that she had me start implementing, helped a little bit. I think it took me a couple years to really get on board with taking thyroid medication. From what I had learned at that time was you didn't really want to be on a daily medication. if you could fix it naturally. But after I started dating Patrick, everything kind of changed and shifted. He has helped me like learn a ton about thyroid health, thyroid medication, and all that stuff. We'll get into that later. So it wasn't until probably 2022, 2023, I had since then moved from California to North Idaho and was living in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, beautiful area. And I found a nurse practitioner there who also practiced functional medicine, and she really, she took over my health journey, and she really helped me dial in my supplements. She did eventually recommend that I got on a low dose of thyroid medication just because my numbers were in the red for so long, and she really helped settle my nerves about doing so, which I am extremely grateful for, because I noticed the moment that I switched and finally was on board with taking a little bit of medication, I felt better. And that was life-changing. For anyone who suffers from thyroid issues, from Hashimoto's, hyperthyroidism, hypothyroidism, I understand how you feel. It's hard, like living life in general is hard, but when you feel like crap, it's terrible. So once I started dating Patrick, he really kind of changed my view on a lot of stuff. There were so many things I could have improved in my daily life, and after implementing those things over the last 4 years, I can for sure say that living naturally, as natural as possible, not saying it's for everyone, not saying that you have to go out and change everything all at once, but we make daily shifts, we make weekly shifts, we make monthly shifts. We do as much as we can all the time, and that's all that matters, making those daily shifts and small shifts over time, they really add up. So that is my journey. Okay, a few things you could do that could change your life right now would be, number one, who you choose to help you on your health journey is crucial. Whether you are working with an MD, a natural doctor, a holistic practitioner, a nurse practitioner, you just want to make sure that their values and how they live their life align with yours. Number two, health isn't about perfection. It's honestly about the small adjustments that you can make throughout your day, throughout your week, throughout your month, throughout your year. I think as long as you are continually learning and you're researching products that come out and you're picking the right one for you, I think that is important. Number three would be your environment matters more than you think, and I'm excited to get into that with you in the videos to come. I'm still learning all of this stuff, and honestly, I'm still figuring it all out as I go. So if you're someone who is curious about health and curious about changing your lifestyle, but also feels overwhelmed with all the information online, that's exactly why I started this channel. Now, if you've enjoyed this video, I'd love for you to subscribe. I'll be sharing more of the things that I've been learning, treatments that naturopaths do, conversations that we're having, and simple ways to help you love natural living. If you have any questions you want me to ask my naturopath boyfriend, just leave them in the comments and we will get to them soon.